Good morning, everyone. It's 9:02, May 21st, 2025. We can get started. Amy, can you start us off with a roll call?
Commissioner Ashworth.
Here.
Commissioner Banks.
Here.
Commissioner Hassler. Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Wild.
Here.
Right. Charlie, are you going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
I said that so long.
I know.
You never forget the word.
All right, we've got a lot to get through this morning. A couple of things for our open discussion. We certainly want to remember the 3 officers from Fairview Heights that were injured while in the line of duty by gunfire last week. This is a good week to remember, folks, as we approach Memorial Day. Commissioner Ashworth and I were privileged enough last week to attend Police Week in Washington, D.C., and it was very, very moving to hear the number of names of officers across the country who have lost their lives in the line of duty, particularly in the larger states like Texas and California, Chief. They had many, many officers out there, and New York, many officers also, where one officer loss is too many, but to hear their roll call was quite moving. We also had a very nice service ourselves last Friday that Chief led. And finally, I also want to put our thoughts and minds together for our neighbors who have suffered storm damage from last Friday's tornado. I'm sure many of you, as I do, know people personally who have been hit very hard or who were hit very hard by last Friday's storm and are recovering from it. So our thoughts and prayers are with all of those victims. With that, is there anything else? Open discussion, gentlemen? Okay. Chief? Chief, they want you to talk to the mic or the lieutenant will get mad at me.
I know in reference to the storms, we had one sergeant who has quite a bit of damage to his residence, and I talked with him yesterday, Sergeant Shepard. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that he conveyed to me is the support that he has gotten from this department. You know, when we talk about ourselves being a family, that's what it's all about, getting help to him, food being brought to him, things of that sort. So thanks for all of you. Welfare Association, Amy, your people, appreciate your help. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We have some
stars.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. First up, Division of Patrol is Sergeant Francis Cardas. 30 years. These are 30 years of service. Congratulations. Thank you much. 30 years.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Down to 20 years now. From Division of Patrol, Police Officer John Werner.
Look forward to the next 20.
From Division of Special Operations, Captain Danielle Durham. God bless you.
Congratulations.
Can you believe in 20 years? Wow. And from Division of Criminal Investigation, Police Officer Richard Kranz. Absolutely. Ricky headed up everything in DC for us, led the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations to you. Good to see you. Did a great job for us. Okay, we're down to the youngsters, Chief. From the office of the Chief of Police, Alexandra Noble. It's only been 10? From the Division of Patrol, everyone's favorite, Sergeant Stan Dooley.
I'm not standing up for him.
Turn the chair on him. He didn't want to stand up for you. There you are, sir. Thank you. And also from the Division of Patrol, Police Officer Kayla Taylor. And from the Division of Patrol, Police Officer Adrian Washington. Accepting on behalf of, no, okay. Division of Criminal Investigation, Amanda Joyce, Police Officer Amanda Joyce.
I guess I should just stand up.
Yes. And 5 years, we have 5 years of service. Division of Operational Support, Ms. Paula Ondy.
Yeah.
Congratulations, just getting started now. All right, Chief, I think those are all the service stars we have. I turn it over to you.
Congrats to all of them. Appreciate your time here. I have some commendations.
I get it out of my glasses.
Hey.
Police Officer Anthony Pittman.
I apologize. I'm very short, and this is a lot of people, so if I have a little stage fright, I apologize. So this actually happened last year in August. A citizen responded to our precinct relative to his son, who his non-custodial mother had taken and refused to return in violation of a court order, stating that that man was the sole who had sole custody. At that time, Dad didn't have a lot of info for us. Her last known address was somewhere in Warrenton, Missouri, and he believed that she had taken him out of state, possibly to Minnesota. So through diligent investigation, Officer Dittman here was able to track down through a court order of a restraining variety this woman to Minnesota, and then it turned out that several weeks prior to this male making the report, she had actually given that child to another friend of hers, and so that kid ended up in Lee Summit, Missouri. And so over the course of about 36 hours, Officer Dittman was able to return a child that had at that time been missing in excess of about 6 months. It's the kind of report that I probably would have had to deal with the investigation myself when I was in DCI. So this is a lot of hard work that he put into this, and reflects very highly on him and the police department.
Anthony, got anybody here with you today?
No, I don't. No, my wife's out of town, so
Okay. All right.
we left it at that.
Great work.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir. Police Officer Jordan Leisure.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Chief, members of the board. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
On August 1st, 2024, officers in the Afton Southwest Precinct get a call for a burglar alarm at a business with glass breakage. It's kind of called a clue there, just before 1 o'clock in the morning. It's down on the south end of Tesson Ferry Road. It's like a dialysis business. So the first officer on scene gets there and confirms that the back door of the business is shattered. The glass is broken. So Officer Leisure gets there on scene, does a great job, sets up a perimeter on the front of the business, just to sort of set up some containment. When he hears this loud noises next door to the business, it's like a nursery, produce stand. There's a privacy fence that separates both businesses, so you can't quite see what this loud banging noise is. So he proceeds to go over around the fence and looks. There's like a refrigerator trailer in the back lot, and sees a male subject standing there in the lot, thinking this is probably the subject that broke into the business next door. So that subject looks up and sees Officer Leisure, and what do you think he does? Yep, takes off running. So being the nice, young, fit officer that Officer Leisure is, of course, pursues right after him. So he goes and jumps over it had to be a 5-6 foot chain link fence that was kind of rickety. So he just starts running after the subject, and as he sees the subject run, he kind of sees them start tossing some items onto the ground. Kind of loses sight of the subject because he's a little bit distance ahead of him. But he doesn't give up, still pursues where that subject last ran, and comes upon a apartment complex. So he starts searching the apartment complex, and sure enough, spots the subject crouched behind a dumpster. And yep, round 2. So what do you think that subject does? Yep, starts running again. But Officer Leisure is a little bit closer this time. So he takes out his taser, and that subject starts to jump another fence. It's like into an enclosed pool area, and is able to deploy his taser, successfully striking the subject, incapacitating him, and taking him into custody. So then afterwards, Officer Leisure remembers the route that he ran from the original business, was able to find and locate all the stolen items from that business and return them to the rightful owner. And then furthermore, we find out later that this same subject is wanted for over 20 different felonies from Franklin County, Jefferson County, St. Louis County, and St. Louis City that has been eluding police capture for probably about 6 to 8 months. So due to the due diligence of Officer Leisure here and not giving up, and took a dangerous subject off the street. So congratulations. Very proud of you and a job well done.
Chairman, I think we found someone else who can run the mic real well. She did great.
Anybody here with you
Yeah,
today?
she does mine.
Just you?
Because I was
You
thinking
couldn't
about him.
catch anybody to
Point
be here with
guard
you.
for my team. That's what I was thinking.
We're gonna use him on the basketball team.
Okay, we have a bunch of accommodations here. First up, Christopher Hornsey. Is this yours? Miss Shaw, wow. Ha I got it then. Come on back, Chris. Chris, come on back. Come on up, stay up here. Maria Vitale. Right. Paul Yu, Bao Yu, I'm sorry. There you go, sir. Ryan Hartstock. And Carl Manginelli. Mr. James Allman. That's yours. And Mr. Michael Cavanaugh. Captain, you're up.
Members of the board, Chief Gregory, department, friends and family. This is the police IT unit. Behind every building that's constructed, whether it be the Arch, Empire State Building, or the Eiffel Tower, Chris, you're gonna appreciate this reference. There's a team of architects, developers, and skilled workers to make that happen. The same concept goes with computer software programs. Before you today are members of our police IT unit. They consist of an architect, software developers, a business manager, and a training officer. These highly skilled individuals work collaboratively with our crisis intervention unit, our behavioral health partners, and our partners at the state level to create and implement a statewide crisis intervention referral system. This referral system is used by all the St. Louis County police officers and is expanding statewide. So any police officer in the state of Missouri can use our CIRT reporting system as we roll it out later on this year and next year. More importantly, this system really benefits our officers out there in the public and our mental health, our behavioral health professionals on working to address the mental health and behavioral health needs in the community. So their work has a huge impact on making the community, making us more responsive to the needs of the community. This multi-year project has resulted in what we have today, our current CIT referral system. It's benefited our department and broader region by streamlining CIT incident reporting, allowing officers to save valuable time on data entry, and enabling better accessibility and visibility of CIT data for our behavioral health partners that we work in the field with. By establishing this centralized reporting framework, the project has enhanced local operational efficiencies, facilitated broader statewide expansion, and positioned our department and our region as a leader in effective crisis intervention management. This system deepens our understanding of CIT incidents, fostering a more informed approach to crisis responses across the state. Because of their dedication, performance, Chris, Schwa, Maria, Paul, Ryan, CJ, James, and Officer Kavanaugh, thank you for your work and well-deserved.
Grand circle.
Thanks, Trevor. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks for you guys too, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Maria, congratulations to you. Congratulations.
Come down, Sandy.
Chris, I love you when you have to get up here.
Anybody here with you? Just you, huh? Glad to have you, sir. We're gonna take a picture with the chief. Anybody here with you? No? Kavanaugh, where's your mom and dad?
Oh, they're out.
Let me just get you here. Come on. We're gonna go. Little picture here. Come on up. Group picture?
Yes.
Here, get in there.
So have the ladies come in front a little bit so I can see them better. Good, good, good. Have her. Yeah. Come up a little bit. Perfect. Thanks. Okay, everybody, right here. 1, 2, and 3. More. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And we have some promotions to make.
All right, excellent.
Okay. First up, Captain Bradley Bland. Bradley's being promoted from Human Resources, and you're going to Research and Analysis.
Yes, sir.
It's all yours, sir.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Brad, you got anybody here with you?
Yes, I have my wife, Carrie, and my son.
Carrie, stand up, there, and your son. Thank you guys for being here. Captain David Price. Price is being promoted from Tactical Operations, going to BPS.
That's correct.
That's correct.
That's why I have nobody here with me. That's why.
And I'm here for you.
I'm sure you'll gather some friends over time. Lieutenant Andrew Hamill. Andrew's coming from homicide, and you're, excuse me, you're going where?
Wildwood, sir.
Wildwood, okay, good enough.
Not many homicides in Wildwood.
Andrew, anybody here with you?
Yes, my wife is here, my parents, Mark and Diane,
You want to stand up, guys?
2 nephews, Sam and Nate.
Lieutenant Tracy Panis. I don't know what I'm going to do without you directing me in my name.
I'm sure Mary Ann here will take care of you.
Promise you already.
We are going to miss hearing from her, though.
Lieutenant, I know you have someone here with you.
I do. I have my husband, Brian, my sister, Terry, and my son and my daughter, Peyton.
All right.
Sergeant Lauren Bambakis. Lauren, who do you have here with you? Stand up, guys. Wow. We should have made you pay admission for all of that. And Sergeant Stephen Benko. Sarge, got anybody here with you?
Yes, my wife, Krista.
Krista? Appreciate it. And we have Sergeant Jacob Meckling. Jake, got anybody here with you?
Chief, I thought everybody was here for me. My mom, Eva,
Ma?
son Adam, his girlfriend Maya.
Commissioner, I think that is it, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you. Congratulations to everyone for the recognition and the promotions. We are about to get into the nuts and bolts of our meeting, and everyone is certainly welcome and encouraged to stay. However, we only think it's fair that we give you a head start. If you want to leave, you can. Don't knock anybody over on the way out. I used to blame you. I guess it's not your fault, after all.
Blame me all you want. We wouldn't be the first.
Anybody need this? Okay.
So far away.
Sorry.
Guys are going after the,
Anybody need his sanitizer?
something on the Westfield Airport. April.
Oh, yeah. A weird group. Jacob Zuma, Garver, HMTB,
Yeah, I saw that.
and somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody just told me.
Very impressive.
Does Jacobs have any aviation guys here anymore?
My back hurts just telling you about it.
I haven't seen them out there forever.
My back hurt.
Because I know where our guys were looking at holes, so I'll make sure they know what to do to give the recommendation.
Well, you know, we're doing, as part of the cup, we got to tie that
Right.
into the apron as well. So
Right.
we got a lot
That
of
makes sense.
background if we get to an interview.
Okay, folks, if we can clear the room, we'd like to get back.
did a fairly good job, at least for the start.
9:30, we got a lot of stuff, a lot of awards. So
Yeah, that's good.
9:30.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get back started. Continue with the meeting, if we might. Chief, I'm not gonna blame you that the room emptied out, but they did. And Chief, before you start with your report, Amy, can you note for the record that Commissioner Hassler is here for our vote? Okay, thank you. All right, Chief. Now that you quiet the crowd down. We'll blame the budget report as to why everybody leaves.
Yeah, and they should. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Pretty much the same, maybe a little worse. We have a deficit of 2.2 million, but I just got word on the retirement benefit. We haven't had the actuaries take care of it yet, but she doesn't think it's going to change because of so many retirees from the police department. So, and she said, they say late June she'll get a new number, but last year it wasn't until September. So I'll just keep updating you on that. But based on what we're doing right now, it's going to be 2 million short, which I'm not showing on here. So that makes a big difference, but we'll be able to tell more at the end of the year, like fall or so. So we're 3.4 short in overtime, 1.5 at least in payouts. I kind of went through with Sandy in our office of everybody we know of and did a rough calculation. So we have about 800,000 more in payouts that we know of unless they use the time, and that's just people we know of. So that could get worse. And on the good side, our fuel, vehicle maintenance, and phone are showing surpluses. The rest of the accounts are just maintaining, they're fine. The ARPA, we have expended 25,723,000. We've submitted 12,823,000, and we've been reimbursed 11,293,000. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
A couple of days. First and foremost, thank you for forecasting, at least as best you can, the retirements. We've
Yeah.
asked about that for years, and so thank you for doing that. I mean,
Sure.
that sincerely. The 12 million in the lagging salaries and fringes, is that just going to stay there all year? It's not going to whittle down every quarter or half a year? Because it's
The LAD will stay the
12 million
same
bucks.
until I remember this from 2 years ago, until about the fall or August, September, we'll be talking to the budget office and they will start asking me if we're gonna, we'll have to do a request to council to ask for that money back. If we think we're gonna go over, which based on this, we will. Just mostly because of the retirement payouts and overtime and now this retirement benefit that they have us budget for. They just gave us a much lower percentage and it's like averaging about 35% instead of the 25 they asked us to budget.
Great, thank you. And the other one's just an observation on the very last page on overtime detail by category.
Yeah,
The beat staffing, I know you put it out here. It's the first time I've really paid attention
Yeah.
to it. Now, the beat staffing, so beats make up what? A third, maybe a quarter of our workforce,
Oh, I would,
if not
yeah.
more. Well, then we
Yeah,
make up
because
a
that's all
quarter.
patrol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
So
make
that's
up-
a majority of it, yes.
it's less than 1/4 of our overtime hours, which caught me off guard. I assume they would be 80%
Yeah,
of it. So we
places
talk
that
about
are like
overtime.
communications and
Yeah.
DCI investigations and then security.
Yeah.
Because we're always running short in there. That seems to have high overtime.
All right, thank you. It's just a
Sure.
perception that I assume that's where most of our overtime would go, and it's not at
I'm
all.
glad you looked at
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Thank you.
If you remember from our last meeting, we talked about how the mobile precinct has been helping out with overtime. And I think that's still helping us out quite a bit.
Thank you. Captain, you're up, sir.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's see here. I'm not used to standing behind a podium, forgive me. I'll be going over the April numbers with you this morning. I've been in my position for 7 days now, so give me a break.
So you got it down.
Yeah, I got it down. Yeah. I got Alia's back up behind me in case I stumble over something. Notable events for the month of April, citizen complaints, we received 10 year to date. Compared to last year, we had no complaints in the months of February, March, and April. So comparing that to 2024, it looks like there's a significant change of 900%, but the numbers are still relatively low. So most of those are coming in through the complaint portal online. BPS looks at every single one of those to look for validity. A lot of those are in progress to determine if there's anything to them. So internal investigation incidents, year to date, there's 40. We had 8 last month. That represents 25% increase. Most of those are as a result of preventable motor vehicle collisions of all of our officers. Use of force incidents, down 24.8% compared to this time last year. 76% of those are very low level physical restraint. So motor vehicle accidents are also, those are down 7.3%, 38 year to date, 3 last month. Vehicle pursuits are even compared to this time last year. And their failure to yield numbers are also down pretty significantly, 26.8% compared to this time last year.
Captain, is there any, it's only 10, but it's still 10. Is there any consistency to what the citizen complaints are about?
Good question. I did check the BPS on that. No. So it runs the gamut of what the issue is. Some of them are not even related to a specific officer or even our department. That's just when they come in through that portal, we look into them and then it counts as a number.
Thank you.
Anything else on the first slide? This is a heat map of our failure to yields. Most of those originate first precinct, 8th precinct. That makes up over 50% of our failure to yields. 975 arrests were made in the month of April. 63 guns were seized and 62 DWI reports. Half of those are coming from our highway safety unit. They do a great job out there. Crime data. Overall, crime is, we're enjoying a downward trend on that. Every category is down. If you look at forcible sex offenses, it's up by 4.6. One of those are as a result of one offender or multiple cases were put on that offender. It made some media headlines recently, the guy in Baldwin. So that represented that increase right there. Any questions on that slide at all? This is a visual representation of our homicides. We've had 2 last month, 1 within an unincorporated patrolled area, 1 in Bellefonte neighbors that are crimes against persons investigated. 11 homicides total for crimes against persons so far this year. I think I might have skipped over 1. Crimes against society, overall, down in every category. It's good to see. Calls for service. Most precincts are in line with the moving average. There's no really significant outliers there. Every precinct almost equal to the moving average, with the largest difference coming from the West County precinct with 43 less calls than the moving average. Self-initiated calls for service. all near the moving average, again, with the largest difference in South County with 172 more self-initiated calls than the moving average. Top calls, this is pretty consistent month to month with those highest being sick cases. Pretty significant amounts of things handled. Traffic stop data, a lot of numbers to digest. Of note, our bias-free policing committee met for their Q1 meeting where they review traffic stop data. And there was no issues determined amongst our officers as far as any outliers stopping a larger percentage of minorities in the area they patrol. So nothing of note on that. That is all I have for you. Any questions at all?
Questions?
Comment, well done. These are numbers far better than we expect you to, and just a request, will you send these to us in advance so we have a little more time to look at them? I mean, we know they don't change much, but if you'd send them to us the week before board meeting as you get into the role and get comfortable with it, we'd
We'll do so,
appreciate that.
yes.
Thank you.
Colonel Schneider gave me this list of questions to ask you. And he gave me a soda for doing it.
I'll talk to him about that after the meeting. Thank
I've got
you.
the soda, so I'm not going to ask
Might take
you.
about 30 minutes.
Director Wagner?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Right, let me get this pulled up. All right. So as you guys saw, Captain Bland has left my office. So I just wanted to introduce, you may have already seen it, but Lieutenant Higginbotham is now in our division. So very excited to have him, and I'll kind of go over some things that he's going to be working on as well. But I figured I'd give him a break since he's only been with us for about a week or so. So he will be doing the presentations though moving forward. So just a couple of updates for you. We've seen a little bit of our applications kind of slow down just a little bit. So the biggest thing to attribute this to is our marketing campaign. So that ended at the end of March. And that really, January, February, March is when we saw these huge increases. And so really kind of tells us it was working. Internally, we are trying to kind of continue some of those things. So for instance, our social media pages, we have our dedicated recruitment pages. We're still doing social media campaigns on there, working on just different content that's engaging. But beyond that, we're not able really fiscally to do any type of TV ads or anything like that on our own right now. So that's why we're kind of seeing a little bit of a slowdown from what it was, but we are still up. Our commissioned applications are still up 5%. So, we are still seeing that. And overall, our applications, the applicants that are coming in are more qualified. And that is what we're looking for. So that is continuing. Our NBQ percentage is 28% this last April, last month. So that's a very good number. Sometimes it was closer to 70 or 80% that we would see. So very excited to see that. And then in terms of our professional staff, those applications are 33% up. So those are still up quite a bit. We're attributing that a lot to the crime scene investigator position. That's a very hot position. So I think that that's kind of weighing into that as well. But even dispatch and security, we've seen a good increase in as well. So hoping that we can kind of keep those trends going. In terms of retention, we are down in all areas except for retirements for our commissioned officers. So again, we had expected this. We knew that this was coming. That's why we're really focusing on succession planning and making sure that we have people ready to go to fill those spots. So otherwise, we're down in all of the other areas there. And then a quick update with our academy. Our current class right now, they're going to be we're expecting 22 to graduate at the end of June. The new class. So what we're looking at right now, we have 15 that are confirmed, done with everything in the pre-recruit program, which is going really well, by the way. I will probably have an update for you guys next month. We want to do some slides on that, kind of tell you how that's been going because that's really been evolving. But we're expecting about 24 total for this class. So not quite to our goal that we had for ourselves. We had a very bold goal of 45, but still obviously better than what we've had in the past and kind of trying to keep that momentum going. We also have one experienced officer that it's in the very last stage of background, so should be ready to go pretty soon. And then our dispatch academy, our June class just started. We have 7 PSDs in that, and then we're already working on filling the next one. So again, we've had some really good applicants. We're kind of to the point with dispatch that we're able to be a lot more selective. which is a great place to be in. So looking forward to the changes there.
Ma'am, can you
Yes.
go back to recruiting for a moment?
Of
So
course.
the advertising campaign stopped, and I'm not sure I tracked in what we're doing to fill that gap.
Yes. So what we're doing, we're kind of trying to keep up our social media campaigns. That's
Right.
that's the
Okay.
biggest one we can control that doesn't cost anything except our time. But beyond that, we don't have a plan yet because of the money.
And we can't access other support mechanism for some more money?
Yes, and we're working on some ideas for that and kind of what that would look like moving forward. It's just such a large amount of money. So we're looking at, okay, how can we kind of whittle it down a little bit, still do some targeted marketing, maybe just not with the huge price tag.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're working through some of those
We'll
ideas.
have an update next month.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So a couple of other updates, some other things that we're working on. So one of the big things was our height and weight standards. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen, we have a chart that we've used since 1998. It has not been touched since 1998. And it has height and weight, and you have to meet both of those to not have to do the PT test if you're an experienced officer. As you can imagine, since it hadn't been touched since 1998, it was very outdated. I started doing some research. Some agencies have gone to using, more BMI, some just an updated chart. Some have gotten rid of it altogether. So we had some conversations, decided to get rid of that altogether. So now when an experienced officer applies, they do not have to take the PT test and they don't have to meet that standard on the chart. And really the idea behind that is, they're out on the road, they're doing the job right now. It is most of the time assumed that they're going to be physically fit enough to do the job here as well. However, if there's ever an issue, medical would kind of catch and be our catch-all if there is some type of an issue that we need to worry about. So we're no longer making that call. It would be made in medical, but it's going to we have been getting a lot of feedback about experienced officers that, have even told some of our, say, lieutenant colonels that are like, I would apply, but I don't meet the height and weight standards and I'm not a runner. I cannot do the 1.5 mile run. And so we're losing out on these people that would come to us that are able to do the job. So we're excited about that change and what that's going to bring. So we will be measuring kind of what that looks like in our increase in our experienced officers applications, see if that's really impacted it. And along those same lines, we are currently working on, and we've been working on for about 6 months now, a new physical fitness test. The current test that we use, there's been a lot of, been several lawsuits. Even the FBI had one based on it. So we're working on that, going to more of an obstacle course, which a lot of agencies do as well. We're working on developing that. So Lieutenant Higginbotham's going to be spearheading that for us, and we hope to have a proposal for that very soon. The last thing, and probably the biggest thing that we're working on, is we're currently going through the process, and I think I mentioned this a couple months ago about process mapping for my division. Specifically right now, it's literally from application all the way till the day they onboard. And kind of what this ended up looking like, we literally brought everybody from my office in. We sat down and said, okay, what is our process? We ended up coming out with 3 different processes, really, when you're talking about that application to onboarding, and that's the hiring process, the testing process, because there's a lot of steps that go into that on its own, and then the actual background investigation process. So to give you an idea of what this looks like, and I know you're obviously not going to be able to read this, but there was no way for me to get it all on the screen, but and I'll go to the next one so you can kind of see. So this is our testing process. The first one was our hiring process, but it literally breaks it down every single step. And if a decision has to be made, okay, if we say no to them here, then where do they go? And it's just going through the entire process like that. This one here is our background investigation process. So what we're doing right now is we have focus groups in my office. I've assigned employees to different focus groups. They're gathering data. We're really looking at, okay, how can we measure this? How can we change the process? And so what we're doing next, which will be at the end of June, we're going to fill this June class first because that's kind of our big focus right now and our big push. And then once we're done with that, so probably about mid-June, we'll be ready to start looking at that process map, bringing all that data together and saying, okay, now what do we need to change and what can we do to make it better? So this has been a really good process for us. It's been very eye-opening on areas that we can impact and change. So once we're done in my division with this, we're going to look at ways to roll it out to other divisions and other units throughout the department to kind of see what processes do you have, what can we do better. So I will absolutely share some of those with you as we are going through that process. Yeah. Yes. And that's all I have today. Any questions?
Thank you
All
for
right,
the
thank you.
invitation to the leadership graduation?
Yes, yes. So we were going to be doing that June 24th. We did do 2 sessions to try and accommodate our midnights people. So that is going to be 8 and 3, I believe, is what we have it scheduled as. So we would love if you could attend. Very exciting. I think we have 117, I believe, was how many people we have. So very excited about that. Going to do something really special for them for that achievement. So.
And thank you for
Thank you.
exempting the commission from the height and weight standards.
Yes.
I've been trying to grow 10 inches, but
I know,
It just
like
hasn't
it
been
just
working.
doesn't work, right? Awesome. Let me get this started for you.
That mapping process that Director Wagner has talked about actually started up in the lab and it streamlined a lot of things up there. Brought it down to human resources, and as she said, we're going to try it in some other areas.
great.
Very helpful. Captain, you're up, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Morning, Captain.
Good morning. Julie said she was going to do this for me, but she left me hanging. All right. Anyway, I just want to give you a brief overview of our drug enforcement and our Gateway Strike Force here. We established this strike force in 2020. I've got some acronyms for you here, but it's one of 19 organized crime drug enforcement task forces in the United States. We've got more than 100 personnel working out of our building. And obviously, here's our mission statement. It's all about collaboration between the state, the feds, and locals. And we are funded by the Midwest HIDA program, which is the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. That is a federal program that funds our strike force. This obviously allows us to maintain our building, our equipment, personnel, training, and other cutting-edge technologies. Without them, we couldn't have this strike force. Participating agencies in our strike force, you can see here, are very numerous. Just about every federal agency you can think of is in our strike force and is represented out in our building every day, including the state, including several municipalities, and the Missouri National Guard also helps us, and they do intelligence work for us. And chain of command briefly, the Attorney General here obviously runs this. You can see how it breaks down here. I've got a slide that shows each of our units that fall under the command. Here's our command structure. The ASAC of the FBI, the ASAC of the DEA, and myself run this strike force jointly. These are broken down into different squads: major threats, major crimes, major offenders, and then our intelligence and financial units. And obviously this all benefits our department because of the asset forfeiture money we receive from these cases that we split with these other agencies. And then again, obviously we're a regional hub for staff resources for federal, state, and local agencies. All of our county drug detectives are deputized by the federal government. Our cases carry us all across the country. For example, we worked a case in San Diego that was bringing drugs into St. Louis. So far, we've seized approximately $10 million in cash. This is a cartel-funded operation. Recently, we also just made the biggest fentanyl seizure in the entire Midwest, 300 pounds of fentanyl that we confiscated here locally in the metro area. That was obviously to be disseminated in the entire metro area. And so the DEA has given some awards to some of our people for this massive seizure. Also with that seizure, we took some vehicles. We're seizing some property. One of those vehicles was a brand new Corvette Stingray, which I'll be driving in about a week. And then our intelligence analysts that I mentioned before, we have professional staff and National Guard people who do our intelligence work. And they do everything from cell phone extractions to helping write search warrants, run backgrounds on subjects. They provide all this information to our officers and to our federal agents to help build their cases. We also have a United States attorney that is on staff with us full-time in the building, where we can seek search warrants and obviously law advice on proceeding with some of these cases. And in a brief nutshell, that is what we do in the strike force. Do you have any questions?
I noticed St. Louis City wasn't a part of that.
Sir, St. Louis City has 2 detectives assigned to us,
Okay. I didn't
and they're
see it
talking about bringing out a 3rd.
on the list. Okay.
The logo is up in the corner and they show the flow sheet.
Yes, sir.
You see that.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Nice level.
Yes, sir.
It's very interesting. I know we were going through that.
Mr. Chairman, if I can jump off the line for a second. Mayor, come on up. You're gonna talk about the academy and the,
Okay, so we're jumping ahead to, gotcha.
I thought it was going to be the basketball team.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm excited to report that our firearms range improvement project is almost complete. The well, water, and the septic systems are complete as well. Right now, we are looking for a projected date of Monday, the 26th, for the firearms pistol range to be available. As you know, we've been using the rifle range to do our transition training, so that's a welcome to have the firearms range open. There will be some ongoing updates during this time, but we're looking at May 30th for a final completion date for the entire project. And late June, last week in June, possibly for a dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony. That way the grass seed and all that will take place, and it'll be beautiful out there for photo ops and things like that. So any questions on the?
Great update.
Yes, much deserved. No questions on the range? Okay, I'll move on to the Regional Police Academy. So as you know, our application for the $50 million grant was approved by the state. Big thanks to Miss Erica Horton from Research and Analysis for getting that application in. Our department submitted the application for the Regional Commission, and that was accepted. We are in ongoing discussions with the participating counties to define and form the Regional Commission and the respective responsibilities that will dictate the contracts for the intergovernmental agreement, the lease, and also the user agreements. So once those agreements have been met, each county will seek legislative authority to execute the necessary agreements in order to accept the state funding, and we can get started on the project. So that's the update I have on that. And are there any questions?
Are we, do we have a location identified or?
No, sir. No, sir. Again, once that grant is actually received, then we can move forward with site selection, construction manager, and so forth. But we're just waiting for those agreements to be finalized.
And who will be on that committee, if you will, to site selection?
I have no idea, sir. Once I get that information, I will
that's fine.
update you. Yeah. So I'm not, at this point, I have no idea. So
Needs to be in St. Louis County.
I'm assuming that each respective county executive would appoint people to that committee. So, no further questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was about 2 months ago, we had Bomb and Arson come in and talk with the executive command staff about the possibility of taking on some maritime responsibilities. They gave a good overview of what they were looking to do. We were very interested in looking into that. And I asked him to come here today just to give us a brief overview of what they're looking for. With that was Officer Scott Brown and Officer Nate Burkemper. I was close. And you have Captain John Martin here, who's local bombing officer. Scott.
Thank you, Chief.
Morning.
Morning. This is my forte, so I apologize if I stumble. Yeah, apologizing already. Like the chief said, we are currently assigned to our regional bomb and arson unit, which is a collaboration between the city and the county. During this time, we started looking at different ways to enhance our unit, to build it and grow it. One of those things that we like to present to you today is with an actual boat. Not a maritime unit, so to speak, or a bunch of a fleet of boats, but just one just for our unit to utilize up and down the Mississippi. With the boat, we're looking at enhancing all of our capabilities and the growth and safety that we have along the port area itself. After speaking with Chief Gregory and Chief Tracy, they both feel that it would be beneficial to both departments to start this program. Other than that, that's all I have for now. Any questions?
Have you got the boat already?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still in the process of looking at different avenues of acquiring that boat.
Okay. And so it'll be shared between city and county?
Correct.
Responsibilities?
Yes, ma'am.
Shared, okay.
How will that work with the fire department and other agencies that have, maritime equipment?
Again, hopefully we'll be able to work with them in conjunction with rescues, search and rescue, anything that's needed out on the waterways themselves. We have a good working relationship now with the city fire department and their maritime unit that they actually have.
Great.
And you've prepared, sorry, Mike.
No, go.
Similar question. You've got the city question. The jurisdiction would be what for us? In other words, how far up and down the rivers will we go? And I know that's tactical, but it also gets into the question of how do we coordinate with other groups that might have this?
Understandable. Right now, between the 27th Lock and Dam down to Kimmswick is considered the St. Louis Port area. And so we would cover all that. So any jurisdictions along that route, whether it be law enforcement or fire department, be more than happy to work with anybody that needs assistance.
And budgetary constraints will be addressed how?
Budgetary constraints are minimal at this time, and I can't really go into those specifically. I can go into them on a later date and time if necessary.
Right.
Okay, any other questions?
Were you guys impacted out at the range at all? Did that project?
Not the project itself, but I guess an after effect of the project, lots of flooding and what have you, but it's coming along. It's coming along.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. In front of you are the minutes from our April 17, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes from the April 17th, 2025 meeting.
Second, anybody?
Second.
All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Amy, do we have any letters and communications ingoing or outgoing that we need to discuss?
No, sir.
Thank you so much. Any old business?
Did we handle that? We had a gentleman, I think it was on licensure, and he sent a letter and several follow-up emails. Have we addressed back to him? Do you know who I'm referring to?
Yes, there have been communications back and forth from legal.
Okay.
As well as from the chief's office about dealing with that. That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
I just want to make sure we're being responsive to him.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay. This is the first under contracts. We only have two. We only have two presented in front of us for approval. Is there a motion that we approve the two contracts as presented?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Anything for the public forum, Amy?
No,
Negative?
sir.
Okay. The Board of Police Commissioners may vote to go into closed session for legal advice and review of claims and lawsuits involving the police department. Section 610.0211 RSMO and Section 114.02011 SLCRO to discuss personnel matters under section 610.0213 and section 114.020.13 SLCRO, and for discussions closed under section 610.021, 19A and D, RSMO, and sections 114.0201.121 and 23 SLCRO, for discussions in which, if conducted in open meeting, would impair the ability of St. Louis County, the St. Louis County Police Department, and the Board of Police Commissioners to protect the security or safety of persons or real property, and the public interest in non-disclosure outweighs the public interest in disclosure of the records. Is there a motion to go to closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Amy, if you would.
Commissioner Ashworth?
Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Hassler?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wild?
Yes.
We are in closed session. Thank you.
Have a wonderful Memorial Day, everyone. Be safe.
We are back. There was one vote taken in closed session to return to open. We are now in open. That was unanimous. Is that right? We're now in open session. Is there any other motions?
To dismiss.
So we adjourn. What's the date?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. We adjourn. Amy?
Commissioner Ashworth?
Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Hassler?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wild?
Yes.
All right, everybody
Thank
have a
you
great
all.
day.